Hi, I'm Eddie Keels, and welcome back to Evidence. And we're here with Geoff Moore in the distance, and right here is Geoff Moore, the man himself. But we'd like to go ahead and get the guys from the distance to introduce themselves. So if y'all could, just tell us who you are and what you play.
All right. Gary Mullet, play bass.
Chuck Connor, I play drums.
Joel, play guitar.
Jeff Barkley, I play keyboards.
Great. Now, guys, we're going to be featuring today on Evidence this week is the song I'm Free from your new album, Threads. And tell us a little bit about that song. Peter Townsend is the writer of that song. Is that the same guy from The Who? Is that same Pete Townsend?
That's that very same Pete Townsend.
Wow.
He wrote the song for a musical they did called Tommy, a rock opera, I guess. It's still playing on Broadway even today.
Cool.
And, you know, we have covered several mainstream songs through the course of our career, but we just felt like this was a song that lyrically represented a lot of what Threads was about. We're all kind of classic rock lovers at heart.
Yeah, we heard the stand on there, and we noticed that
and
was...
we decided that it would be a fun thing to do. So
Yeah.
we've tried. We didn't know for sure if we'd keep it on the album. We just thought we'd take a crack at it, see how it came out, and we really liked it, and the rest is music history.
As they say, in Hollywood. Well, just keeping that same theme going here, what are some of the musical influences that y'all have had individually and as a band collectively through the years?
Yeah, well, you know, I grew up not listening to Christian music. In fact, I don't know how many, was there anybody here that was an avid Christian music listener in high school? Jeff was. So it was a blend of mainstream music, and I think we all were kind of drawn to mainstream bands that had some spiritual messages in their music. Hope they were Christian, you know?
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
He said, that could be God. It could be.
It could be if you just kind of squint your ears a little.
So, you know, I think we were guilty of, you know, kind of being drawn to some of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But we were all, you know, we all listened to Petra and DeGarmo and Key and, you know, Amy Grant, a lot of those groups growing up, too.
All the pioneers, I guess, if we say.
Yeah.
So a lot of y'all before have played together before, like a couple of y'all played in JAG and such, and you grew up playing in a church. Was that a great outlet for you, playing in the piano in church and stuff?
Say that again?
Yeah. What did y'all enjoy putting together the most on the Threads album?
To pick our favorite song, I'm sure that's always an individual choice or interpretation. They, you know.
Okay, well, let's...
I don't know. What do y'all tell us your favorite song?
In Betweens is my favorite song on the record.
I like Stand. No need to explain. I think The Letter.
Jeff?
See, we all have a lot in common. No, I think I like Only a Fool. So.
So it works out well now. Are all the songs included in the set that y'all play?
Let's see, of that list, no, not all of them.
Really?
No, we couldn't play. You know, you're always, when you're trying to put a tour together, you're always torn by, you know, playing older material that people, your fans really want to hear, or playing all this new stuff that you've just recorded that you're way into, you know. So, actually, we're playing a medley of old material on this tour, which is, gee, what's that tell you about us,
Kind of
huh?
reminiscent of Genesis or something?
Yeah, it's right up there with, like, you know, Opryland.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You'll know that Jeff's favorite song from Threads, we are playing in the set, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, just by
You know, there's just a few perks that come with your name being first on the marquee.
Exactly.
Now, what is your target audience? You're talking about the set tonight. What is your target audience for the tour?
I don't know, if it were Gary Mullet in the distance, what would it be?
It's
We'll be playing The Letter, buddy.
Each one of us is different audience.
So I can take a break.
Well, do y'all like to mostly reach out to young people? Is that who y'all mainly minister to?
You know, the music kind of determines the audience a bit, and it definitely is younger. But, you know, our audience has been growing on both. We've always had kind of a student, I don't know, 15 to 25 kind of core, but it's been growing on both ends. I think ever since we did Home Run, we've had every 10-year-old in America come to our show at one time or another. And then, because we've done it a long time, now there's families that come, you know, who maybe listened to us when they were in college. That was 10 years ago. Now they've got kids of their own, so we're kind of a family act. Right?
Okay, speaking of 10 years ago, I got to confess, I think I saw you in concert about 10 years ago, probably in the 85, 86 era.
Great, you're in junior high.
Well, actually, probably right around, I think I was 12 years old. But you know, you were just a young kid.
Can you start over again?
What'd I say?
Start with,
Okay,
I have to confess this to you.
All right. I got to confess this, but I think I remember seeing you in concert back in Houston in around 1985, 86, something like that. And I think you were opening for Petra at the time. And now, I remember the story that you had talked about. You were still, I think, under the name just going as a solo artist, Geoff Moore. And it was before the inclusion of The Distance, I guess. But
I'm
you
amazed
had
you
mentioned,
can remember back that far.
I'm kind of surprised I can too. But
Anything else you remember about 4th grade, pal?
not really. But there was this really cute girl. No, you mentioned some radio DJs having trouble pronouncing your name, and I think one of them was like Geoff Moore or maybe Gorf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy. Hey, I appreciate you bringing that story
No
back
problem.
up.
It stuck in my head, you know.
You know, finally you think you're over a hump in your career.
And then you get this young college kid who comes back and haunts you with it.
You know, you think somebody would have read Geoffrey Chaucer along the way. Or maybe they'd have picked up, you know, some Geoffrey Bean clothing or
Yeah, but you know,
cologne.
English
That's
is so
it.
overrated.
But you know, that was the thing. It was Geoffrey the Giraffe, Toys R Us. That kind of sealed
Yep.
the deal and made
Yep,
it positive.
exactly.
Made it an international name.
Exactly. But now, what made y'all decide to, or made you decide to kind of quit being a solo artist and go with the whole group thing, and then the name The Distance come about and everything like that?
Well, I'm sure they'll disagree with me.
Do we have a choice?
Whatever he says.
No, I mean, the way it started, well, one of my favorite things is always live music. And I was playing with accompaniment tracks, which was just,
Oh, yeah.
it went against everything I believed, you know.
It's a real cool thing to do, too.
I hated it, you
Yeah.
know. And particularly if people were like, weren't familiar with Christian music, if they were like non-Christian, just mainstream music kids, they were really digging it, you know.
Shows
It was
how
like,
spontaneous Christian
yeah,
music was.
yeehaw.
Uh-huh.
And so I got a chance to open for Petra
Uh-huh.
on probably that tour that you saw me on, and they and it was just about partway through that tour they said, hey, we'd really like you to have a band. We'll actually pay you enough money that you can afford to put one
Cool.
together. The last solo record I did was called The Distance, and I
Uh-huh.
thought I liked that name, and so that's kind of how we put it together, and it's been going ever since.
Very cool. And you had a song called The Distance, too, wasn't it?
No, just the album.
Oh, just the album?
Yeah, I might have
Okay.
used that line in a song somewhere, but we didn't have one that was titled
Okay.
that. That was a cool thing to do in that time.
Yeah,
That is,
I know.
title your album something that didn't have anything to do with
Some
any of the songs.
obscure reference that
right.
nobody knows what you
Right.
really meant.
Right. Like
It-
those bands, like all those local bands that pick some obscure Greek word
Right,
to call
right,
themselves, right?
right. Kind of
Carl Mike. Gang vocal Mike.
Hi, everybody. I'm Geoff Moore.
We're the
And we'll take that too. Take two. Hi, everybody. I'm Geoff Moore.
And we're the distance.
And here is our latest video from our Threads album. This is I'm Free. Well, I think, you know, it's been really fulfilling to be able to give new artists a start. Audio Adrenaline did their very first tour with us. Big Tent Revival did one of their first tours with us. And now on the Threads tour, we have Small Town Poets and Out of Eden. Our real goal is just to kind of, you know, humiliate them, give them no sound checks, eat all the food at catering before they can get there. If they do sound check, we usually open the doors and let all the people in while they're sound checking. Just things to give them a taste of, you know, what I lived through. It's really my chance to get even, to get back, to settle the score. No, that's not true. We've had, I mean,
You don't seem vindictive.
no, not at all. I'm not bitter.
Jaded personality here.
I opened for Petra for a long time, DeGarmo and Key, Whiteheart. They were all really great to us and gave us, you know, a real platform, a real chance. And that's what we try and do with the guest artists that are with us. Because, you know, they're so much better than we were back then, too. So it's like, man, this is great.
Well, on that same note, what would be your advice to a young person that's aspiring to be in the Christian music industry?
Yeah, wait till we retire, okay? Got enough competition out there as it is. Just hold off. Well, you know, we get asked this all the time, and I think, I think the biggest thing we would tell people to do is, first of all, be willing to accept the fact that just because you're Christian doesn't mean that you necessarily need to be in Christian music. You know, I think Christian music's a place to be if you feel called to be there, if you feel like this is what God wants you to do. There's plenty of opportunity in every other kind of music for you to play and to live your faith out. And so make sure you feel called to do it. And then, you know, we encourage people just play whenever you can, for whoever you can, as often as you can. So many groups just sit around and wait for their break, you know, instead of getting out and doing ministry. You know, if we feel called to, when I felt like God had called me into Christian music, you know, I was singing in the local church, you know, or driving my car around before we ever had all this stuff, you know, to do it. And so it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. And I would encourage people to get under good criticism, you know, people that won't, you know, everybody, if you just talk to your local church, they all think you're the best thing that's ever, you know, been.
Right.
You know, you're as good as Sandy Patty. Well, you know, there's already a Sandy Patty, you know. And one's enough. I love Sandy. Sandy, we love Sandy. Sandy, if you're watching, we love you. And, you know, encourage people to be original and realize that God's, you know, there's already one, who, if they're trying to be like somebody, they're already that. Be themselves. God gave you a unique set of gifts.
Some people might hear the term Christian music and think that creativity just can't go in. The two can't be synonymous.
Oh, I think it's even more of a challenge. I think you have you know, you've got, you know, 3 or 4 minutes to work in, you know, you can write about anything in life, but you have a limited time to work it into a Christian worldview, which is even more of a challenge. I heard a guy say one time, it's telling a timeless message in a timely fashion. I think that's really a good, you know, description of what you're trying to do.